There was a time when someone incredibly important to you entered your life, a person whose presence evoked both comfort and confusion. They radiated warmth in some moments, only to retreat into aloofness in the next. It was a puzzling contradiction that stirred deep emotions within you. You held this person close to your heart, cherishing them with an intensity that was unconditional, even as their actions left you feeling uncertain and emotionally adrift. They alternated between intimacy and detachment, showering you with affection one day, then disappearing behind emotional walls the next. The inconsistency was more than confusing, it was painful. It created a deep and growing divide, like a slow-moving fracture in the foundation of your bond. Eventually, their erratic behavior culminated in a physical separation. But that distance wasn't just about space, it was symbolic. It mirrored the emotional rift that had silently formed over time. The parting didn't just reflect a falling out, it represented the culmination of their pattern of withholding and withdrawing. But what hurt more than the parting itself was the realization that it wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. They distanced themselves with purpose, calculated and intentional. It was part of a silent game, one in which they wanted you to chase them, to beg for their attention, to prove your devotion through pursuit. Your affection became their fuel. Your love, so freely and sincerely given, was twisted into something transactional in their mind, something they could use to elevate their ego. And you, unknowingly, were caught in the snare, trying to make sense of the emotional yo-yoing that left you longing and confused. During this painful phase, you blamed yourself. You thought your words, your actions, or perhaps something unspoken had caused them pain. You believed they were retreating because they were wounded by you. That belief, as sincere as it was, couldn't have been further from the truth. What really happened was far less romantic and far more calculated. You were manipulated. Your genuine and unconditional love was used as leverage in their own internal games. They knew you wouldn't walk away. They understood your capacity for forgiveness, your empathy, your unwavering heart. And they relied on that to maintain control. Yet, something shifted in you. Somewhere deep inside, perhaps after nights spent in tears or long days of silence, a realization emerged: your self-worth wasn't tied to someone else's validation. You began to understand the necessity of setting boundaries, not out of bitterness, but from a place of self-love. Slowly, but firmly, you began to choose yourself. You stopped reaching out. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped participating in a game you never agreed to play. You took back your power, not with dramatic declarations, but with quiet, consistent action. This shift was not what they expected. The silence you gave them wasn't the same silence they once inflicted on you. Yours was different, it was healing, intentional, transformative. They noticed. Suddenly, they were no longer in control. The grip they thought they had on your heart loosened. And it startled them. For the first time, they saw you slipping away, not because you were giving up, but because you were growing beyond their reach. You made it clear, if they ever returned, it would only be through honest communication and pure intention. No more games. No more ambiguity. Only respect, sincerity, and effort. You drew a line, not out of resentment, but because you finally understood that love isn't meant to hurt. Love doesn't confuse. Love doesn't demand you diminish yourself just to keep someone else comfortable. One of your greatest gifts, your emotional intuition, became your guide. You've always had the ability to feel energy deeply, to read between the lines, to sense sincerity beneath the surface. That gift protected you, even when your heart was vulnerable. It helped you distinguish between real love and emotional manipulation. It became your compass in the storm, guiding you back to your own truth when everything else felt like chaos. And in the midst of all this, I find myself reflecting on you. Let me begin with this: I admire you deeply and sincerely. You are the only woman who has ever dared to challenge me when I was lost in my ego, who stood firm in the face of my arrogance and called me out with clarity and grace. Your courage, your strength, and your refusal to accept anything less than the respect you deserve, that has left a lasting impression on me. It made me look inward, made me question myself in ways no one else ever has. Your honesty, though sometimes hard to face, has been the mirror I needed to see myself more clearly. My silence during this time hasn't been a form of dismissal or neglect. It's been a period of deep introspection. I've spent this time trying to understand myself, to dissect my patterns, my fears, my failures. I've been forced to confront the consequences of my actions, especially how they affected you. And in doing so, I've come to a place of humility. I've come to acknowledge that I was wrong, often, and in more ways than I care to admit. In my quietest moments, my thoughts inevitably return to you. I remember everything: your laughter, your wisdom, your compassion, your strength. I remember the way you looked at the world, and how your presence could calm even my most restless storms. I think about the person you are and the person you're becoming. And I can't help but feel immense admiration for you. You've never needed anyone to complete you. You've always had the strength to walk alone if it meant preserving your self-respect. That, in itself, is a kind of bravery I had to learn from watching you. I know you're not waiting for apologies anymore. You're waiting for change, real, tangible change. And you're right. Words without action are meaningless. No matter how sincere the apology, it holds no value unless it's backed by transformation. I understand that now. I understand that if I want any place in your life again, it will be earned, not begged for, not manipulated, but truly earned. You are, without a doubt, the only person who makes me feel completely seen, completely accepted. With you, I've known a kind of love that goes beyond the physical, a connection that feels spiritual, almost cosmic. It's a rare, once-in-a-lifetime kind of love. And in losing it, I've come to understand its true worth. You are incomparable. No one has ever or will ever replace what you mean to me. You've left an imprint on my soul. You've helped me grow. Because of you, I've become more introspective, more grounded, more conscious of my actions and their ripple effects. You've shown me what it means to truly love, to love with integrity, with respect, with presence. For that, I owe you a debt of gratitude I may never fully repay. Thank you, for calling me out when I was wrong, for refusing to compromise your values, for being a light in a time when I was fumbling in the dark. Thank you for being you, authentic, brave, and beautifully unwavering. I am committed to becoming a man worthy of your presence. I want to be someone you can be proud of, someone who adds peace to your life instead of pain. Because you, my love, are worth every ounce of effort, every moment of growth, every lesson I've had to learn. Since we parted, I've lived in a kind of self-imposed isolation. Not out of pride, but necessity. I needed that solitude to see things clearly. And now, I am emerging from it, not as the man I was, but as someone who's finally ready to fight for what matters. I know you have countless other options. I know you're no longer entertaining half-hearted love or people who hide behind excuses. I see that now, and I respect you even more for it. Your ability to walk away from what no longer serves you has forced me to reevaluate everything. The thought of losing you, it terrifies me. Truly. Because it would mean losing the one person who ever truly got me. I've come to understand the full weight of my actions, and the karma they've brought into my life. I regret cheating on you. I regret every lie, every time I chose ego over honesty. And I now carry that regret not as a burden, but as a motivator. I am determined to make things right. This clarity, this awakening, it didn't come easily. It came through nights of sadness, through silent mornings, through aching memories. But it was real. It was transformative. And it brought me to a single, undeniable truth: you are the only person I want to build a future with. The only one I can imagine sharing dreams, stability, and peace with. Even now, I feel you. Your presence lingers in my mind, in my heart. Your childlike aura, that rare blend of innocence and wisdom, continues to enchant me. Your words, your energy, your very being, they have a soothing effect on my soul. I see your photos and feel everything all over again. A simple image of you is enough to flood me with emotion. Yet, the reality of our current distance often feels unbearable. Watching you move forward, pursue your goals, and live your life while I remain haunted by our past, it hurts. It hurts more than I ever expected. I scroll through your social media not to invade your privacy, but because it's my only way to feel close to you. Even in my dreams, you visit me, reminding me of everything I've lost and everything I still hope to regain. You are rare. A woman of truth, of power, of principle. You are unwavering in a world that constantly demands compromise. And sometimes, I still can't believe someone like you exists. But you do. And I see you now, fully. I see what I failed to cherish the first time. This journey, of love, of loss, of awakening, has been as painful as it has been beautiful. But I wouldn't trade it. Because it brought me here. It brought me to the understanding that you were always the treasure, the rarest kind of love, the person worth fighting for. And so I stand here now, humbled, awakened, and ready. Ready to rebuild, to make amends, to walk beside you, not in front or behind. Ready to earn back your trust, not through promises, but through proof. Because you, my love, are everything I never knew I needed, and everything I will never take for granted again.